This video is not to dissuade anyone from going to the Philippines. The Philippines has been and will continue to be one of my favorite vacation destinations because the people are friendly, the food is plentiful, and personally because I love the indie music scene in Manila. My program is funded almost entirely by myself. I also work with street children in Manila who are part of this project. In October of 2017, my trip to Manila to complete such a project took an unfortunate turn. I was starting a project with Thai children that would promote a Manila-based indie band, and this video would be filmed in 80s style. On Friday, October 20th at about 10:30 a.m. I left the condo that I was renting through Airbnb in Makati to buy clothing for the children. So I started down Makati Avenue to look for a ukai-ukai second-hand shop that I had found on Google. Not too far from the condo, a man approached me. He introduced himself as Bobby. He told me that he recognized me from the condo I was staying at, which also doubles as a hotel on the lower floors. And he told me he was from Cebu and that he was a home economics teacher and was visiting Manila for a seminar on nutrition for kindergarten students. When he found out that I was looking for second-hand shops, he offered to tell me an area where I could find many of them. I didn't want to put him out of his way, so I thanked him for his hospitality and told him that I can find my way, and I didn't want to be a bother. Bobby was about 45 to 55 years old, had big upper teeth. I remember his potbelly rather well because he had an average build, yet he kept rubbing his belly because when I thanked him for his hospitality, he said, no, I need to get exercise today. One other thing that I remember about Bobby is that he spoke Japanese. We got to where the jeepneys were, and coincidentally, we met the 65-year-old lady who he had been looking for. And she was with about a 35-year-old lady, a bit chubby, who introduced herself as Sandra. Sandra was a bit chubby. She had light brown hair, mostly blonde on top, and it was pulled back in a ponytail. She wore a light blue sweater, very casual style, as if she were washing clothes that day or, even working outside. The older lady, 65, introduced herself as Divine. She had short red hair. She had age spot or mole on the side of her face. And she wore a scarf that she often veiled over the top of her dyed hair. She told me that she had a husband who's a civil engineer in Saudi Arabia. I'm not repeating any of this because I believe any bit of it is true. I'm repeating it because if you find yourself walking with anybody like this and you hear the stories like this, maybe what I say will just trigger something in your head that, hey, I remember a guy who was drugged and kidnapped, and he mentioned these exact details or details very similar to this. We arrived in Guadalupe and they were extremely hospitable and helpful. They spent an hour with me going around to the different secondhand shops, talking to the clerks for me, trying to find exactly what I was looking for. Sandra also mentioned that it was Divai's birthday, and that was another reason that I wanted to take care of lunch. As I shopped for their clothing, I wanted to film this, and I thought it would also be nice to introduce Bobby, Sandra, and Divai, as they are fellow educators, and it kind of gives the children a sense of what it means to be open to other cultures and to be friendly, and that we're all similar in some way, and that these complete strangers are helping with part of the process of getting their project ready. And that was the first flag, that was the first red flag. I pulled this camera out and pointed it at myself. And although Bobby, Sandra, and Divai were not in the field of the camera yet, they moved to either side of the road of the shopping street, and I said to Bobby, I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Is it okay to get you on camera?" He said, "You better ask her." So I asked Sandra, "Is it okay?" And Sandra tells me something about ISIS and not taking video, and I didn't exactly understand, but I respect her wish not to be filmed, and I put the camera away. We got into a trike and we went to a restaurant that Bobby recommended, which was underneath an overpass. We went into the restaurant, and red flag number 2, the one man working in the restaurant did not greet us like customers, did not bring us a menu. Instead, we had a seat, and he immediately brought out a bucket of red beer. Again, this was lunchtime. This was about 1 p.m. This was followed by some fried chicken and some nachos. Now, at no point did any of us look at a menu or order food. The man already knew, that what we were going to eat. Divai also had a banana. She had a banana, and I didn't see her peel it. I was talking to Bobby, and she tapped me, and I looked over, and she was squeezing off half of the banana to me. And I said, "No, thank you." But this half of the banana that she was squeezing off was starting to fall. She was like, "Oh, get it." And I put out my hand and catch the half of the banana that she's squeezing off. And I put it on my plate. And over time, I gradually ate that. Now, at this point, I wanted to take a photo of all of the food. And once again, although the camera was pointed at the table and was nowhere near being pointed up toward anybody, once the camera was out, Bobby, Sandra, Divai, and the man who works at the restaurant scattered and moved to all sides of the room. I didn't need any more red flags after this. That was enough. Well, my phone is out, and I start to look for Filipino friends who are online at that moment. And a girl that I know who happens to be in Cebu was online. So I wrote her a message. I said, hey, do you know anything about ISIS and taking photos? Well, she had no clue what I was talking about. So the conversation, the chat with her moved on. And I said, you know, I'm in a strange situation.
I want to see the people with you now.
This is our food, but the people move away from the camera. They don't want to be in the photos, so it makes me worry that something is a little strange.
Oh, that's so strange.
Okay, we are at a place called Chipotle in Guadalupe.
Please, careful.
Okay, you can follow exactly where I am by clicking on this link anytime, in case I'm being kidnapped.
Hey, don't say like that about kidnap. You make me scared now. Yeah, I saw the goggle where you're right now. It's a good idea. It's your first time to meet them? What are their name? I want to know.
Okay, Bobby, Sandra, and Devi. Yes, met them on the street.
2 girls and 1 boy?
Right.
You should go back to your condo.
Now, up until this point, I've been very polite, meaning that I'm paying attention to my hosts and talking with them, genuine talking. They know everything about my job and that the money that I'm spending is for children. I'm not here for my own leisure. But now I'm kind of focused on my phone, and they notice this change in climate, and Bobby takes my phone from me in a half-joking manner and looks at it, and he sees this conversation where I'm warning this girl of the predicament that I'm in. And he starts to type to her in Cebuano.
Kamusta ka daha sa Cebu? Diha?
Dili ko okay tungod kay gahunahuna ko sa imong kahimtang dira.
What happened next, just all of the facade that there was any well-intention here was out the window. Bobby typed to her in English as me.
I came back to go shopping for costumes for the video. It's okay. Don't worry. Bobby helped me find this shop.
And then gave me my phone back. Now there's no longer any need to pretend that this is not happening. We know what's happening. And so I say to them, I say, look, whatever you want, I'm going to give that to you. Let me just make a video saying everything's cool, so you don't have to worry about her. Let's just eliminate anything that you need to worry about. Let's make you comfortable, and let's get down to business. You tell me what you want, and that's what you have. So they agreed, and I made this video. I hold up my camera, and I talk to her, and I tell her everything is fine.
Hello, this is Darrell, and I am with my friends. They're okay.
I look and I notice that although Bobby, Sandra, and Devi are always right on me, they weren't really paying attention they weren't watching me. So I mouthed the words, "Help me."
And I'm safe.
So they definitely recognized the nuances of the drug taking effect. And they said, okay, let's go. I was 100% conscious, paying the bill, and the next 4 feet to the door. But going through the door was like entering a dream. I had no control of my body once I went through the door. It was as if I were a zombie. And what I mean by that is not that my body was limp and I had no control, that I'm just falling down unconscious. I mean, I could stand, I could move, but I couldn't use my own brain to control my functions. I couldn't tell my body, I couldn't send signals to my body of what I should do. I remember a car already being in the front. I was in the car and I don't even think the car moved. Because within 10 seconds, that was the last thing that I saw during daylight hours of Friday, October 20th. It was dark. I heard somebody say, "You have to get up now." But I don't know if another person actually said that to me, or if my inner voice, or even if I verbalized that to myself. I remember opening my eyes and it's nighttime, then nothing, then recognizing something familiar and realizing I'm on the streets of Ermita. I know this because I work with street children in Ermita. And then nothing. And then a taxi driver asking me for money. And nothing. I woke up on Saturday, October 21st, to have my first moments of at least some real semi-consciousness, where I could link things together. I looked down and for the first time I noticed that my shorts were cut from the inside of the leg up to the crotch, exposing my genitalia. I also noticed abrasions on my ankles, as if they had been bound or scraped. Of course, everything was missing. Cameras were missing, money was missing, phone was missing. The one part of the story that was told to me from someone else is this girl in Cebu who continued to check the Google Maps link that I sent her. Now this link follows you by satellite, so if I moved from the restaurant, she could follow this blue dot along the highway to wherever I was going. And she continued to check for 30 minutes, and she was not really alerted to any kind of danger because the blue dot continued to show until the phone was shut down that I was still in this restaurant. The detectives were very kind and helpful, but I do wonder why, knowing a location where this happened, and I think everything that was happening was just very in the open, And there's no way that the man who was working there, or just, I want to say it's a very small chance that the man who was working there didn't understand what was happening. The conversation that we had once the facade was down was very open and not discreet. In fact, I believe that I spoke a little more loudly as a way to signal him that I was in distress. Why that isn't followed up, I don't know. I lost all of the media, all of the data that the children had so far worked very hard on, because that was all in a memory card in the cameras. What advice would I give? I would not say don't trust people. I would not say don't be friendly to strangers. On the contrary, what makes the world go round is being open and being friendly to strangers who become friends. There's no way in your head that you could have justified that stealing everything, that drugging me, stealing everything, kidnapping me, and possibly assaulting me because I have no clue what went on with my ankles and my cut shorts. There's no way that you could have used any fabricated thought to comfort yourself or justify that this was okay to do, and you still did it. And you've got the ability to connect with people. You've got the skill to talk to people and to make people gravitate toward you, with your magnetism. But you use it for this selfish, horrible deed that you continually do again and again to people who come over with the kindest intentions, because those are the only victims you have, are the ones who are willing to spend some time with a middle-aged local just because their heart is big enough to be open to sharing culture and Is there anything else I could say? Maybe. That means thank you. Don't think that it's sincere.
One way or another, I'm gonna find you, I'm gonna get you. One way or another, I'm gonna win you, I'm gonna get you one way or another. I'm gonna see you, I'm gonna meet you one day, maybe next week. I'm gonna meet you, I'm gonna meet you. And I will drive by your house, and if the lights are all down, and I'll see who's around.